on and has been on. So again, welcome for joining us on this webinar where we're covering the courses for teens and parents that Hindu University of America is offering. And this is an important time to get our youth involved in this dharmic mission. And we have different avenues for you and your family to participate together in this intergenerational project that we're under. And so as we get into this, maybe I'll introduce our faculty as they make their presentations or before they make their presentations, but we have President of Hindu University of America, Sri Kalyan Vishwanathan, joining us today. So please, let me hand it to him. He'll give us some words to open. And if you want, it's always amazing to see the diversity of Hindus that join us from around the world. I'm in Los Angeles. If you can put it in the chat where you're joining us from, that's always a nice little thing to see. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for being on with us. Kalyanji, why don't you give us some context?
Okay. Namaste, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. I must acknowledge that the webinar participation has dramatically fallen. Maybe it is the release from the COVID-19 restrictions. Maybe it is the onset of summer or the beginnings. People are traveling maybe, but certainly the participation is quite low. So that's the first thing I wanted to recognize. So we'll be making recordings available to the participants here as well as others, so that the benefit of the content of this webinar is made available more widely than just the participants in this webinar. So having said that, the content of this webinar is very, very important, crucially important, because it represents HUA's commitment to engage teenagers and parents jointly in the form of courses that are addressed to both teenagers and parents simultaneously. Now, this brings up a question, a very, very critical question on which I keep getting constantly challenged. Is it possible for teenagers and parents to learn together? Is it possible? Or is it always better to separate out the teenagers and the parents? Okay. I suppose there cannot be a universal answer to that question. In some cases, it may work very well for teenagers and parents to be in a class together. And in some other cases, it may not work at all. So, at the outset, we must recognize that there is no single universal answer. As in all matters Hindu, there is no universal answer to any question, any such question. But I'd like to take a poll on this question. So, Ankur, if you could prepare a poll on this, right? We'd like to get a sense from our audience. The question is it good for teenagers and parents to go to a class together? Is it good? Is it workable? Or is it not good? Is it not workable? And Ankur will prepare that question set and throw up a poll in just a minute. But if anybody wants to offer an opinion on the chat box, you can type in a comment on this point. Okay, so I'll wait for here is the question. Ankur has thrown up the question. Just go ahead and answer the question, yes or no. And we'll see where the consensus falls within this small sample of participants in this webinar. So, any comments on this question from the participants? Please type it in the chat window. Yes, we can do it, sir. The adults need to be listeners. Okay, that's an interesting point. Sometimes the youngsters feel intimidated in the presence of adults, is it not? Depending on the topic, they can come together. It is workable as long as the presentation is relevant, engaging with real life issues. Yeah, that's a great point. And obviously we are going to challenge our faculty to always be relevant, always be engaging, and always be connected with real life issues. And I think the faculty will be representing that in just a few minutes here. I wonder if there are any teenagers on this in this webinar and what they would have to say about it. That they would have a different opinion. It's understandable that parents or grandparents think that it is a great idea for teenagers and parents and grandparents to work to learn together. But I wonder what the teenagers would say about that, what their perspective would be. Yeah, Sohi Sharma is saying it's a great initiative. It will help bring the two generations closer together. Yes, certainly that is our commitment. If these kinds of courses can generate the possibility of some new realms of conversation and dialogue between across the generations, new topics to talk about, new assignments to work together on, instead of being separated into our respective realms of uh, interests and so on. In fact, that's our hope, that we are able to precipitate that. Okay, here's another comment. My daughter says that sometimes it is not good, as we may end up judging each other. Yeah, well, Anna, that's a great point. And I think as parents, or grandparents or uncles and aunts, I think we are often guilty of judging the teenagers as not mature enough, or not able to form impressions and conclusions of their own. We're all guilty of it. I myself am guilty of it sometimes. And the only way to counteract that is to recognize and be conscious of the fact that we are judgmental in some ways, and make a commitment that we will not judge them during the course, so that they can learn more freely without the fear of such judgment. Yeah, it's not possible. Tanjore Venkatraman is saying it is not possible, because teenagers feel that their priorities are different. You're more comfortable with friends. I mean, there is a lot of legitimacy to that also. So certainly the constituency of parents and teenagers whom these courses are likely to appeal to are the ones that are willing to experiment in this regard and are able to persuade each other to be in a class together. Okay, so yeah, you can't force it on a teenager, certainly, as a parent. And, they're going to have to choose it. All you can do is offer it up as a possibility, and the teenager will have to choose for themselves. Now, having said that, we have 4 different faculty, in fact, 5 different faculty members here on the call today. And we're going to look at 4 different courses, each of them targeting the joint participation of teenagers and parents. And I'm going to challenge the faculty in keeping in view this particular difficulty of how teenagers and parents can learn together at the same time, and what will make the environment to use a contemporary word, safe for teenagers. Because it's often felt that for teenagers, the presence of parents immediately makes the environment unsafe. So, how are you as faculty going to deal with that? Okay, so with that challenging question, we're going to turn to the faculty in turn, and I'm going to ask the faculty to respect the time of the others. So limit your remarks to about 10 minutes. Okay, you can use slides if you want. Speak about your specific course, and then we can go from one course to the other course. Okay, and speak about what teenagers will get out of it, what parents will get out of your course, and what will they get together out of being in your course. Together, if they do participate in your course. Okay, so let me begin with perhaps let's start with Shantanu Guptaji. Namaste. You may want to introduce him, Ankur.
Yeah, so Shantanu Guptaji is the founder of the Ramayana School, an Indian author, TEDx speaker, and political analyst. You may have seen him on television. He's a widely published author, and his latest book, BJP Past, Present, and Future, is leading the charts on Amazon. His last book, The Monk Who Became Chief Minister, Biography of Yogi Adityanath, is listed as the most memorable nonfiction books of 2017 by Amazon in India. Shantanuji has an engineering degree from GB Pant University in India and did his master's in policy and politics from the Institute of Development Studies, IDS, University of Sussex in the United Kingdom. Shantanuji has worked for a decade as a process and management consultant in many cities in India, Switzerland, Cyprus, Hungary, and Israel. He's represented India in many international conferences on economy, policy in Germany, Malaysia, and Sri Lanka. And he is a faculty at HUA. He's in his second course here, and it's an honor to have him. Shantanu, thank you. Off to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ankurji. Thank you, Kalyanji. And great to be with all the faculties together. And it's quite interesting web format. And when you called me first, I think after a lot of time, I almost got butterflies. Oh my God, I'm first, right? Because I do like multiple TV channels a day, but for some reason, literally I got butterflies for 2 seconds. Yeah. So all the panelists, namaskar from India. I'm calling from Noida, Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath's Uttar Pradesh. And if you can quickly come on my, you're all able to see my screen, right? Ankurji? Yeah. So my screen is visible. And let me put a timer so that I'll not go beyond time. And Ankur, do check me if I go. So if you can come on my link, that'll be lovely so that you can participate also with me. If not also, you can still look at my slides. So in my course, which I call it Lessons from Valmiki Ramayana for Parents and Teenager, it's a 10-week course, and towards the end, I will also tell you how I structured it. But before that, if you've already come on the link, I'll ask you a question. See, I have various tools. Some of the tools cater to the teens, a lot of quizzing, a lot of games, and a lot of reflection exercise, which will cater to both parents and teenagers both. And then I will leave you with a lot of discussions which should travel and which I want you to travel in your breakfast tables, in your dinner tables. And as a family, can I learn from Ramayana? Because Ramayana is a story of people who are in family, right? So there is Ramachandra ji, whose father is Dashrath ji, and Kekai ji gives kind of out of a trick, sends him to exile. And then two brothers and a wife are going to jungle. So there's a constant interaction with lot of relationships within a family. And we will try to unravel that, how that plays out in our families, right? So there's a very, very relevant text which a family can go together. If you're already on my link, I'm sure, can you answer me? I'm sure you know some Ramayana, all of you know some Ramayana. But where did you learn your Ramayana from? Is it from Ramanand Sagarji's serial, or did you read the Valmiki Ramayana, or the Tulsi Ramayana, or some Amar Katha storybook, or through parents, grandparents, teachers, which is like India's age-old oral tradition, right? Interesting. Whenever I do this survey, Kalyanji, I get happy and sad. Happy because everyone knows Ramayana, that's a good thing. But sad part is that no one has read the 24,000 shlokas of Valmiki Ramayana. So no original reading is happening, right? And hopefully, after the course, a lot of my participants, I've trained almost 2,000 participants in the last couple of years. A lot of participants have taken this challenge as a family to take 20 shlokas a day, 30 shlokas a day, and read whole of 24,000 shlokas in couple of years. Okay, that gives me a good sense. Because you all know Ramayana, and I'm sure if teenagers are joining, they will like it. Let me take a quiz, and do join the quiz with your names. Do join the quiz with your names. Ankurji, I have spent 2 minutes, so I have 8 minutes left. Okay, all of you, keep joining. I'll give you half a minute more. Okay. So tell me, because if we go through Valmiki Ramayana, who wrote the original Ramayana? There are various versions of Ramayana. Even Amish Tripathi has written his version, right? A lot of people like it. Tulsi Ramayana is very famous. Kadam Ramayana is very famous. So who has written the original Ramayana? Rishi Valmiki, Rishi Vashishta, Rishi Vedavyasa, Rishi Vishwamitra. Okay, 76% if you're right. That's why we call it Valmiki Ramayana. Okay, tell me on your screens now. Okay, was Rishi Valmiki contemporary of Lord Rama? So, I mean, the author and the hero of the story, were they living at the same time? Were they on the earth at the same time? Were they talking to each other, or no? Or is it afterthought? What do you think? 53%, you're correct. They were living together. They were talking to each other, in fact, at couple of moments in Valmiki Ramayana. Okay, 2 more questions. I do a lot of quizzing here because of the restriction of time. I'm only spending 2-3 minutes. Valmiki Ramayana is written in which language? Though our course will be in English, but at some point of time, if we want to learn the original language, which will be that? Sanskrit, Pali, Awadhi, or Hindi? Sanskrit it is. And to my understanding, HUA does run a course on Sanskrit also, if Ankurji, if I'm right? Okay. Yeah, Ankurji is nodding. Yeah. Okay, the last question, and we'll take half a minute more. Okay. Valmiki Ramayana has about how many shlokas? I've already given you a hint, if you remember. 108, 1008, 24,000, or 5,000. How many shloka Valmiki Ramayana has? It has 24,000 shlokas. So it's a massive text. Even if you read 100 shlokas a day, which is quite something, it will take you 240 days, almost a year, right? Okay, so I got a sense, and okay, do you not want to know the winners also? Okay, no prizes though. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so there'll be a lot of quizzing, lot of questions, right? Valmiki Ramayana, which has 7 kands, 645 chapters, 24,000 shlokas, and we will go kand by kand during the course. So 6 sessions, 6 days out of the 10-week course will be on each kand until Yuddha Kand, and then in the next 4 course we will discuss the historicity of Ramayana. Is it a myth? Is it a history? Or is it between something? What is it? Was Hanumanji a Vanara, a monkey, or a human being, or something in between, right? So a lot of some questions. Did Ravana really have 10 heads? Did he really fly? Right? And there's solid available logic in Valmiki Ramayana available to that. So we will discuss all of that in our course. But the crux of the course is the leadership lesson. We do 25-30 of them during our whole session on a whole 10 weeks course. And these are quintessential lessons which will stick with you for the life. I'll just take one of it. I'm sure you all remember Rama was about to become the king the next day. He was anointed as the king. But KK and Manthra plots a story and asks 2 old demands. And KK asked, no. Send Rama to jungle and make my son, my biological son, Bharat as the king. Now, Darshat did not know what to do because Rama was an appointed king. A lot of people together, people's representative, a lot of kings together have chosen him. How can I send him to jungle just out of a whim? And I want all of you to become Darshata for a while. And we do a lot of such critical thinking with teenagers, with parents. So imagine you are King Dashrata And don't give me a goody-goody, wishy-washy answer. Give me a real practical answer. And you don't have any signed agreement with KK, right? It's just a verbal promise which no one knows. No one knows this promise. Only Darshat and KK know. So if you even break the promise, no one will bitch about you. What will you do exactly? You will lose your son for 14 years. You are old. You will die before he comes back. Or you will reject the demand because Ayodhya will lose such an amazing king, man. Or you will say, KK, okay, do one thing. You can ask for your demands, but ask me something better. You can ask for like sending appointed king to jungle for 14 years for nothing, no fault of him. What will you do? You are all my modern Dashrathas. You are all my modern Dashrathas. And during my course, I'll challenge you with multiple such situations. And to my understanding, and I will give the credit of this articulation to Kalyanji, that I think in life, every time we are making some choices, right, Ankur? Every time, even joining this on a Saturday morning, joining this webinar is a choice. I'm sure there are competing choices. Now, even restrictions are open, travel restrictions are open. You can go out, there are competing choices. And you have some framework to make a choice. Maybe your upbringing is one framework, which country you lives in one framework, which civilization you come from is a framework. To my understanding, Ramayana provides us amazing framework to the whole family, to the teenager, to the parent and the family together, to give them a very solid ethical framework to decide. Because what to choose, which course to choose, which partner to choose, which company to choose, which country to choose, from everything, what food I eat to what kind of friends I make, Ramayana give you a beautiful framework for throughout your life. So these 10 weeks, to my mind, is I want to equip with a framework which will help you in just decision making in life, right? And 19% will say said that they will agree to the demands, and rest 80% said they will not agree to the demand. And I have 2 more minutes, Ankur, and I'll finish it. But Darshatha did something else. Darshatha said, but only 80%, only 20% of you were ready to follow the promise. But Darshatha said, no, promise is a promise is a promise. Promise. And there's a beautiful chopai in Tulsi Ramayana, Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Ai, Pran Jai Par Vachan Na Jai, meaning I'm ready to give my life, but I cannot go back on my promise. Right? That was the weight of the promise. See, we break so many promises throughout the day to our parents, to our children, to our friends. In fact, I call myself, Ankur, a CCTV society, right? Like we are behaving good because the CCTV is watching me, because the police is watching me, because the municipal is watching me, because the government is watching me, not because I want to behave good. Tomorrow you remove police, oh my God, see the beast out of me. I will rob everyone, right? But what Darshat, nobody was watching. Even apart from KK, no one even knew the promise. So he could have very easily broken the promise, right? But he said, no, I have to set this precedent of following the promises, right? Though that society was, we can call it orthodox, old society, but so much to learn for us today. So I think similarly, this is just one nugget from Ramayana. In our course, we offer many such nuggets, right? Which will enrich you as a family, that how to decide. Is just utility is my basis for decision, or there are some various other things. So yeah, and we also do the geographical, how geography wise, Ramayana also travels through a geography from Ayodhya to Lanka. We also talk about that. I will skip this question. Okay, while I'm just telling about the course structure in last 1 minute, you can write, and I want to see that, do you want to kill any Ravana quality within this webinar? I think we all have Rama qualities and we all have Ravana qualities. I think in the course, I want you to push to that you keep recognizing your Rama qualities and keep recognizing your Ravana qualities, and make sure you keep increasing your Rama qualities smartly and keep decreasing your Ravana qualities. I think for me, it's delaying things and postponing things, which I try to kill every day. And I think whoever said it, I think we all get angry for stupid things, but you are just brave enough to just write it on the screen with so many participants, right? Okay, keep writing. Meanwhile, I'm just explaining the course. So it's a 10-week course. First 6 weeks is explained from Balakand to Yuddhakand. We spend whole 1.5 to 2 hours on one Kand, the whole story, what are the nuggets, what are the interaction happening between each and every character, and what can we learn from our modern times. And you will be amazed that every interaction is so relevant even today. Even today, with your Facebooks and Twitters and Instagrams, is still very relevant, right? Then the next 4 session we will spend on finding out any logic that troubles us, that okay, no, this cannot happen, this is not true in Ramayana, we'll find out, like through the original shlokas, what is the shloka saying? And like, can it be valid? Can Ravana still fly? Like, was there is a logic to Pushpak Viman? Was Hanumanji a monkey or not? What is the basis of historicity of Ramayana? Is Ramayana historic or not? Right? All of that. And again, there'll be some tests, some small writing, some quizzing. So all of that. Right? So I think that's from me. Signing off, Shantanu from, I keep saying, from Yogi Adityanath, Uttar Pradesh. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Shantanuji. Wonderful presentation. I love the interactive polling. That's better than the Zoom polling because we could see it and it was cool. If you can stop sharing screen, I did drop a link to the course in the chat with some of the details. A lot of our courses are designed for that base rate of like $200. Each one is a little bit different, but each extra family member is $100. And you each get your HUA email address. You get locked into the LMS system, our learning management system. And so all the PDFs and course materials and Zoom links are uploaded. We're making this easy for you and your family to participate, engage, and learn in this intergenerational project. So as we go through our courses, we'll put information in the chat. Kalyanji, if you wanted to say something, or should I jump into our next presentation by Dr. DK Hemahari and Dr. DK Hari on our Exploring Hinduism for Teenagers and Parents?
Yeah, just one comment I want to add, which is, we are, see, normally our courses are 1 quarter long. 1 quarter means about 11 weeks long. But in order to try to fit the schedule of these courses into the summer vacation, what we've done is we've compressed the schedule of these courses into about 6 or 7 weeks, which in our estimation fits into the summer vacation from coast to coast. Okay, we may not have done a completely thorough job, and there may be a class overlapping either on this end or the other end into the school, overlapping, I mean, into the school schedule. But nevertheless, we made every effort possible to contain these summer courses into the summer vacation interval. And I really hope that, these courses are picked up and many youngsters can participate in these courses alone with their friends and also with their parents and sometimes even grandparents. What are they doing anyway, right? So terrific. Over to you, Ankur, for the next.
Ankurji, before Dr. Hari takes in, I just want to make a small a second comment. In my classes, every time whenever I talk about historicity, some participant or the other quotes the course of Dr. DK Hari. That okay, you should. So I think I should personally attend Dr. DK Hari's course. I think I keep hearing the reference very often in my classes. So yeah,
very good. I think that's a great idea. I mean, faculty also should.
Exactly.
We can all learn from each other.
I wanted to join his and enjoy the course.
Actually, that's what we were talking. We wanted to join Shantanu Guptaji's course and enjoy it.
Wonderful. That's great. Awesome. In fact, I could add that even though I'm the president of this university, I'm also a student and I'm also taking courses in the university. I mean, who said the president cannot take courses, right?
Faculty and student.
Yes, that's right. All right, back to you.
I'm taking courses too. And hopefully you will be able to join us at HUA and take some of these courses over the summer with your family. Let me introduce Dr. DK Hari and Dr. DK Hemahari, who actually had their own careers in business consulting and tech and all that stuff, but they earned their degrees, their doctorate degrees together at Sri Sri University, and they started the Bharat Nyan Initiative in Civilizational Studies in the year 2000. And so they have been doing this work for decades. And as Shantanuji said, they've gained this reputation and credibility by publishing so much information, videos accessible specifically for young people. They've been teaching courses at Hindu University of America for almost a year now. We're glad to have them as part of our faculty. And Bharat Nyan, their initiative follows an interdisciplinary approach to researching from a Hindu perspective, and it provides an integrated narrative of the Hindu civilization, which they've been publishing and working with an Association of Art of Living. And again, proud to have them join us at Hindu University of America on an ongoing basis and opening it up to you. let me hand it off to our esteemed faculty.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kalyanji, and thank you, Ankurji, for inviting us to be part of this session. Thank you so much. And I'd also like to thank Shantraji for a very nice presentation. It was informative, fast, and colorful. Thank you so much. And because Ramayana is so wonderful, the subject. Thank you so much. And getting on to our subject for the evening or the morning in USA, this particular course, Exploring Hinduism for Teens and Parents, we'll be doing it for the third time with the HUA. It's a simple, nice course, basically for people to appreciate this beautiful religion, concept, continuing Hinduism. And as I said, the original idea was to bring it among the teens and parents, because Hinduism as a subject or anything on Indian civilization is not a dining table discussion. It is not a drawing room discussion, has not been, unfortunately, which it should have been. So the original idea was a year ago to bring Hinduism back into the discussion of the house. And so that when we have teens and parents come in, and grandparents also, there's some amount of overflow of the course into the house. That was the original idea of starting it. And when we did start teens and parents, there was a lot of questions whether it will work, whether if parents come, will teens come, if teens come, will parents come. I said, we will try. And we have had partial success in this. We won't say substantial success, partial success over the last 2 courses. And we are trying to build on this time. We'll make this presentation, a quick presentation in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, to start with, how many of you find these kind of feelings very familiar? Especially, you put a few Hindus, Indians, and especially Hindus into a very multicultural environment, and then immediately you find the confidence flying away, you find a disconnect with strengths, you find some inferiority complex tugging at your heart, you find that you're attracted more by the others' lifestyles, you're pulled in different directions, contradictory to your value systems, your family's value system, and you just feel squirmish many a time. You're unable to relate. You want to be a part of the modern, but then somewhere you feel, no, I'm from the ancient. How can I be part of the modern? And you really don't know your strengths. You feel disconnected. Why is this happening? Fundamentally today, you find the reasons being peer pressure when you move outside with people from multicultures. Then you also are carrying a burden of a distorted history, a mind that has been clouded with a number of myths about your own civilization, your religion, your tradition, your customs. And fundamentally, you're unaware of yourself. You're unaware of your family values. You're unaware of your tradition. And all of these actually, the history of the civilization have very sadly left you lacking in grounding in your roots. So these are some of the reasons why you have this feeling. It is not something that is really innate in you. It is something that has been thrust upon you in the last about 200 years or so. And it is something that we can very easily overcome. And how can we do that? One, we have to start seeing the bigger picture, of which we have been a very big part. A big picture in which our civilization has played the biggest part in the last more than 3,000, 4,000 years of history that is accepted by the world today, but not our contributions. What is accepted as a history of the world? Yes, for 3,000 to 3,000, 4,000 years, but the contribution of our civilization has not been accepted so far and has not been made known so far. So that is one thing. Second,
Accepted means we ourselves are not aware of it is the sad fact, because we have not been educated about it. So there's a systemic issue there. So that is what we need to overcome, and HUA is the right platform to overcome the systemic issue at an international level.
so with that, we have to understand, therefore, what our strengths are and the culture that actually binds us, which is a very strengthening factor as well. With this, we will be able to discern those destabilizing forces that are preventing us from reaching our own roots, that are preventing us from strengthening our own roots, from connecting with our own self. And if we are able to, and if we are able to do all of this, we will be able to, one, regain our resourcefulness to think laterally. For this is one very unique quality of the civilization, and which it gets because of the Hindu nature of the civilization, the lateral thinking aspect. And you will be able to train your mind to do this kind of a lateral thinking with respect to today's problems. And that will help you strengthen your rooting. It will also help you gain more ground in today's world as well as the world of the future.
So from a civilization perspective, we will not only be strengthening ourselves at our roots level, we'll actually be able to gain more ground. So exploring Hinduism is a fundamental to that from a multifaceted approach, which we will see now.
So some people say, I find it very difficult to get my friends, to convince people to come and join this course because they say it is something to do about the past, it is something about the ancient. No, it is to do everything to do to build you for the future. Because study of the Hindu civilization itself is like a stepping stone to sustained success. See, if you look at the past 2000 years, you will find in history, the world history, you will find largely it was a search for India by the West. And how do you see that? You see that by names such as West Indies, East Indies, Indonesia, even the color indigo. So all of these are based on the name India, which incidentally is a name which they gave us, not something that we gave ourselves. So if we have been doing something that people have wanted to come to us for, we were veritably the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And if we were so, then we definitely must have done something good. So this civilization study is actually a stepping stone that can help scale up your own soft skills to become relevant for the future. And when you become relevant for the future, what do you gain? You gain the confidence, you gain the dare, you gain a direction, and you gain that unique distinction that is needed for you to succeed in that future. So Hindu civilization study, unlike that of being a study of the past, is actually a study for your future. And what are we actually going to be studying when you want to get to know the Hindu civilization? You are going to study about its geography, why we are where we are, since when have we been here, why we do what we do as a Hindu civilization, if you from the past, from the overall history of the civilization, what kind of trade did we indulge in, what kind of, and how did this trade happen because of our navigational skills, and how did we live to sustain this prosperity for year on year, for millennia, and all the family values, the timekeeping aspects, the festivals, how did we celebrate them? How did we know that we have to celebrate this festival, Ramanavami, on such and such a day? And on Ramanavami, what did we do? What was the reason for celebrating Ramanavami on that day? And what did we do on that particular day? Which again varies from region to region, which we call Desachar, incidentally, along with the Kalachar of the entire civilization. Then what is the education? How did we educate? We just concluded a session on how it is the Hindu civilization that has actually contributed the present system of education to the world. And that system of education,
especially the Americas, which is called the Lancastrian system of education, is what the American system of education is based on.
And how that is rooted in the Indian system of education. And then how did we communicate with us, within each other? What kind of languages did we use? And what was the science in the language? And how did this science influence the development of alphabets itself world over, and the order and so on that you see in alphabets? What happened to it and so on. I mean, a whole lot of things. The Hindu civilization has been very influential in shaping the world, both in the sense of matter and in sense of mind. So what is this civilization all about? Because it's much more than religion. If you see, it is actually a continuum itself.
I think this
And-
is a powerful statement. It's a continuum, because when you say religion, we see it in the modern word of the religion. But Hinduism is not just bracketed to be a religion. It's a continuum across millennia.
That is
many
why we
millennia.
have called it the Sanatana Dharma. And how do we know all this? For instance, I'll just show you one thing which will just, flabbergast you. Did you know actually we have 22? We spoke about Valmiki Ramayana, and Shantanuji showed how beautifully Valmiki was a contemporary, and which is why that is alone an itihasa. Valmiki Ramayana and Vyasa's Mahabharata are the only two itihasas actually certified itihasas of the civilization.
Iti ha asa, meaning it thus happened.
But we've had 22 different ways of keeping history records. How many of them? What are these different records? These are the ones that tell us. But mind you, these are only historical records. Now, beyond this, you have your Shastras, you have your Puranas, you have your Sutras, you have your Samhitas, then you have your Darshanas, then you have the Veda, you have the Vedangas, you have the Upavedas, Upapuranas, which actually tell you about the way to live, about society in general, about principles, values, and so on. So amount of literature the civilization has produced, that is what is good, has actually, it gives us a picture of all of this, along with the records of the various travelers to our land, the various plunderers of the civilization. They have recorded actually a lot of things about our civilization. And it is from all this we are going to reconstruct this picture about our identity, our geography, history, all of this. And there are myriad different topics and perspectives that lie within all of that. And we are going to, in the first course of exploring Hinduism, we are going to, just a moment, right, drag this, yeah. We're going to study it from 5 different angles. So in this 20 sessions within the 6-week summer batch that we'll have, we're going to be having 5 different units. So we'll start with about the land of the Hindus, where we'll cover the geography and the history. Then we will look at the various divinities of the Hindus. We or normally say the 33 Koti divinities.
What do they mean?
So what do they mean? Who are those divinities? Are they that many in number? Who counted them? Where do they reside? All of that we will see.
Basically, we'll ask, where on earth are they? These 33 Koti divinities. Because children ask this question, where on earth did it happen? We look at the where on earth question here, literally.
So then we will look at the calendars of the Hindus, because many of you would be, if you're, you would be told that this is your Hindu birthday, this is your birthday, date of birth,
As per the
birthday.
Gregorian calendar.
So why do you have these 2 different dates and so on? How were we organized? Because many of you would be getting exposed to caste related issues.
We'll
So
deal
what
with
is
all
that?
the difficult questions, really there.
And then how has this civilization struggled to stay afloat so far for across so many millennia?
And come through successfully as the last man standing, really among the civilizations of the world.
So these
Successfully.
are the 5 different units that we will use to explore this as an overview. And then, of course, we have many courses following that you can take up. And like Hari said in the beginning itself, this has been actually a welcome move where we have had teens and parents together. The reason is to just bring them onto the same page so that they can talk the same language, they have the same view, they share the same vision of the civilization and the roots. Because sadly, today we can't blame the children alone. It's because the parents too are unaware. It's like about 200 years of disconnect of the generations that have come in the last 200 years. They've been disconnected from their roots. So we have to actually help the parents and grandparents as well discover their roots along with their progeny. So that's why we started this idea of teens and parents to bring them together. And we hope to see, we have seen many couples taking our classes. We have seen parents and
Grandparents.
children, grandparents and children. And we've also seen people with their dogs taking their classes as well because of their online courses. So in the comfort of their home. So we would really love to see you all starting, I think, July 7th. And I think Ankur can give you more details about the organization of the dates and schedule and so on. So thank you so much, Ankur and Kalyanji, for giving us an opportunity to talk to people. And if you have any questions, depending on how Ankur has structured it, we can take the questions.
Yeah, we'll take questions at the end, but thank you so much. That was so beautiful. You have Dr. Jayagopal in the chat dropping in that they took the class with their student, with their kids, and they enjoyed it. You have some nice words of support, as you were saying. And it's also, you said it, you know, HUA is the right platform to overcome this kind of this word ethnocide that's been going on, attempted, and we're still here. And HUA is providing this platform. Thank you for being a part of it and sharing this important course. And I dropped information about the course in the chat. It's Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Each course, we'll put it in there. Please link and take more than one. If they fit your schedule, take as many of these courses as you can. Make a summer out of it at HUA, at Hindu University of America. All right, Hemaji, if you could stop sharing, we can go on to our next our next presenter, Sri Gopi Prasadji. It's been an honor to work with him in these last couple of quarters as well. Let me just spotlight Gopiji right there as I introduce him. We're basically on time, but we'll save the questions until the end and you can put them in the Q&A box. So Gopiji has an MBA in global management from Bremen University of Applied Sciences in Germany. He did his school education from Sri Aurobindo School in India and has been involved in the study of Bhagavad Gita since childhood. He's in the process of teaching many courses, a series of courses at Hindu University of America, bringing innovative ways of presenting this important information. He's the founder, president, and managing director of Gloman Group, which has its presence in Germany and India. And besides his active corporate career, Gopiji serves as visiting faculty to management schools and, of course, HUA. His experience in the field of education has led to the creation of general education, a G-education model, which is applied in the development and dissemination of structured learning programs on the Bhagavad Gita. Right? We need structure to learn what is in this, and Gopiji has innovated this and is bringing that to Hindu University of America. And he's the recipient of the Sri Sardar Patel Award back in 2010. Gopiji, let me hand it to you for your presentation on your course.
Thank you very much, Ankurji. Thank you very much, Kalyanji. And it's been a pleasure to be with co-faculties of Hindu University of America, Shantanuji, Hariji, and Chandrahaji. I think I'm liking this format of interacting with the participants. It's like not single course, but a bouquet of courses, and then there is a contrast and a comparison. As Shantanuji suggested, I may also join some of these courses myself. Great. So let me take you through a short presentation of few slides. I just structured it to explain brief information about the course. One could have easily got this information from internet, but I thought I explain it so that in my own words. Gita Vidya Sadhana, as I call it. Before I talk about my course, I see in Hindu whole history, civilization, we have countless number of scriptures. And Dr. Hariji has just shown the whole gamut of documentation that we have gone through in Hindu civilization. And one scripture particularly has time and again been quoted is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Many acharyas have written bhashya from time to time on Bhagavad Gita, explaining its relevance to that times generation and that times society. And to me, Bhagavad Gita is a tool for the whole of Hindu society, and at the same time, it's a tool for our individual personal growth and progress as well. So this is a very unique aspect about Bhagavad Gita. It has 700 shlokas in total across 18 different chapters. I got fascinated. I fell in love with Bhagavad Gita from the very childhood, from my school age. And ever since, whenever time permits, I used to, debate myself on certain shlokas, quote these shlokas in friendly conversations within the family, among the friends. So what I thought was, when my children came to an age when they were ready to listen to Bhagavad Gita shlokas, I wanted to make it little biteable chunks of it so that people can take it a bit by bit. And that's how the whole journey started. And we have this structured learning program called Gita Vidya with Sadhana, Shodhana, and Vadana as three main components. Sadhana, as the name suggests, is the practice of the shlokas, the pronunciation, understanding of the meanings of the shlokas, writing down the shlokas, internalizing the shlokas. Shodhana is where we explore the meanings of these shlokas from across different versions of Bhagavad Gita, trying to compare a couple of versions of different acharyas and trying to understand these shlokas. Vadana is where we pick up an issue from our day-to-day life, apply the shlokas, and try to find a solution to the problem. So that's the whole structure of this program. However, what we are now talking about is only the first part, the Gita Vidya Sadhana. I try to make this course as interesting as possible, as colorful as possible, as playful as possible. And I'm sure the young minds will find it very, very interesting because of three structured modules. There are A, B, C, three modules, and they cover 17 thematic topics that are very relevant to present day society. Topics such as the body, the nature, the mind. We have topics about physical wisdom, emotional wisdom, talking about how to understand the current society and things like that. Module A highlights the material and psychic aspects of the body. So what we have is the material body, and what we have within is the psychic body. Stula Deha, Sukshma Deha, as we call it in Sanskrit. Module A covers that part of it with 50 shlokas in it. Module B describes physical wisdom, social wisdom, occupational wisdom, mental wisdom, emotional wisdom, and spiritual wisdom. And if you carefully see, these are again Stula Jnana, Sukshma Jnana. So the first module is Deha, second module is Jnana, and third module is Yoga. The word yoga means union of two things. And what we are discussing in Bhagavad Gita is the union of Atma with Paramatma. And Bhagavad Gita suggests four paths to pursue the union of Atma with Paramatma: Karma Marga, Jnana Marga, Dhyana Marga, and Bhakti Marga. Path of action, path of knowledge, path of meditation, and path of devotion. We will see all of those different paths for personal progress and connection with the God. Now, these topics seem to be very, very, complex and deep. What we made it is we kind of made it quite easy and to take the first steps with more of practical appearance of it. How do I illustrate the meaning of Bhagavad Gita? No amount of words seem to be sufficient to explain the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. We have seen many acharyas. Some of the Bhagavad Gitas are having as many as 1,500 pages, and still the acharya feels that he hasn't explained it enough. And what I tried is I started drawing illustrations for these shlokas And I have drawn over 80 different illustrations to explain these 140 shlokas through descriptive drawings. And you will see all these drawings. You will also get a chance to put your hands onto it, fill colors into these drawings, feel the drawings, imagine the meanings by yourself, internalize the concept of Bhagavad Gita. So that's what we have done. And I'm really glad and thankful to Kalyanji and all the team, particularly the technical team of Hindu University of America, for joining me with this journey and encouraging me from time to time. I come up with some new idea and I want it to be included. And the technical team says, okay, Gopiji, let's do it. That splendid teamwork. And there is a learning management system of Hindu University of America, one of the finest learning management systems that I have come across. We have structured some nice quizzes that you can just drag, drop these quizzes and check your understanding, check your memory of the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. It's almost like playing, but still you're talking and discussing a serious subject called Bhagavad Gita. So that's what I'm explaining here. We have guided practice audios to learn the pronunciation of the shlokas. And then you have graphic illustrations to understand the meaning of the shlokas. All the classes are going to be online. I know this is a summertime and there are holidays around, but the beauty of this course to me, and particularly the way Hindu University of America is offering, that you can take this course wherever you are, in middle of your holidays, for example. You're not going to miss this just because, or you're not going to miss your holidays. You can actually plan both together if you really want to take up all of these courses. Let me give a small impression as a kind of an example of what you will get in this course. Now, what you see on the screen is actually an illustration of 4 shlokas. Ankurji, please alert me if I'm exceeding my time limit. So these 4 shlokas are about the body, the physical body. And Bhagavad Gita has precisely explained the functioning of the body, the connection with the food, and the qualities that we develop with the kind of food that we eat. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamasritah Pranapana Samayuktah Pachamyannam Chaturvidham Ayussatva Balarogya Sukha Priti Vivardhanaha Rasyaha Snigdaha Sthirah Kridya Ahara Satvika Priyaha Katvam Lalavanatyushna Tikshna Ruksha Vidahinaha Ahara Rajasasyeshta Dukkha Sokamaya Pradaha Yatayamam Gatarasam Puti Paryushitanchayat Uttistamapi Chamedhyam Bhojanam Tamasa Priyam. Now, these are the shlokas. I think the age of Bhagavad Gita is that of the sun's age, sun in the sense, the sun in the sky. And we will get to that also in the course about it. And the interesting part is, from that time itself, the profoundness of our knowledge system is so well structured. The meaning of these shlokas is, the Bhagavan is saying that becoming the digestive fire in the body, I function within the bodies of all living beings. In union with inward and outward breath, I digest the 4 kinds of food. Now, what are these 4 kinds of food? Bhakshya, Bhojya, Chokhya, Lehya. Bhakshya is your starters that you normally, if you are in the modern day terminology. Bhojya is the main course, the rotis and all of rice, all of that. Chokhya are the food that you need to chew with your teeth. They are a little hard and you have to crush them and eat. Lehya is the kind of food that you lick with your tongue, the pickles and all of that. So these are the 4 different kinds of food, and all of that is digested with the help of the digestive juices. And now, when you see in this illustration, you see 3 different types of foods, and each of these categories of food is going to develop a different guna in you, and that's what is being explained here. The top above food is generating sattvika guna. This food here, which is pungent with spices and all of that, is going to promote rajo guna in the body. The ones which are fermented are going to promote tamoguna in the body. And likewise, we are going to see many such shlokas. And the next set of shlokas is about the structure of the society, the caste system in Hindu Dharma. And Bhagwan has mentioned that the structure of the caste system is based on the guna and karma, not by janma. And we will get into the details of it during the course. And then last slide is basically 2 testimonials. Ankurji, if I have time, I can play, or otherwise we can take the questions.
Yeah, we'll include the testimonials in the email that we will send out after this webinar, which will include links and details and the recording so that you have access to it. We're right at the top of the hour. Gopiji, it's great presentation. The Bhagavad Gita is so important, and really appreciate you creating this innovative way to help our youth get plugged into it and understand it and make it their own. So Gopiji, thank you so much for your presentation. Did I drop it in the chat? Let me put the details for that course, for Gopiji's course, in the chat right there. Please click. And so the schedules are different. See what works out for you. And of course, as Gopiji said, you know, there's all these different options. Hindu University of America has over 120 courses, and each quarter we're increasing, we're developing, we're inviting new people, different people in the Hindu community who have been doing this work in different places to join us so that we create this platform for Hindus in this dharmic mission for all of us. And on that note, for the first quarter, we are going to have Sri Chandradas Halai, who is teaching his course on mathematics. And let me just give him a brief introduction, and we will get into our last faculty member today, but very important. Glad to be bringing on this new course. So Sri Chandradas is an engineer, a scientist, a mathematician, author, photographer, painter, designer, and management consultant with interests in many diverse fields like mathematics, physics, aerospace, mechatronics, mechanical engineering. And for the last 20 years, he's been involved in an engineering consultancy, but he's well known, and we have him because he's the author of the book Vedic Mathematics Inside and Out. Chandrahasji, let me hand it over to you for your presentation. Thank you for joining HUA, and I think this is a wonderful summer course that you're going to be offering for teens and parents on this important subject, getting into a different aspect of Hindu contributions to the world. Chandrahasji, please.
Yeah. Namaste all. So the course that I'm going to conduct is Indian origin of mathematics. And as the world knows that the decimal place value number system was given by India. That is not the only contribution to the world of mathematics by India. Algebra, astronomy, and various fields of mathematics originated in India. So this course will give you an introduction or open up a window to this world of mathematics. In ancient India, gurus and acharyas used to teach the pupils or the students by telling a story. So I will start my session first by telling a very small, interesting story. I'll share the screen. Okay, I'll start the story by an invention of chess and mathematics. So as we all know that chess was invented in India. So at least by around say 1500 years ago, chess was invented in India, and it was known by the name Chaturang, or rather in Hindi or in Sanskrit, chess is called Chaturang. Now, what is Chaturang? Where does the word come from? It comes from Chaturangi Sena, means it consists of all the 4 units of a military, that is infantry, cavalry, chariots, and elephants. So let's go back to the story. So a sage invented a game of war and he gifted it to a king. So the king was very delighted to have that game. He was really, really happy, and he asked the sage that you can ask for any gift you want, ask for anything you wish, and it will be granted to you. The sage, of course, they are sannyasi, yogi. They don't want material belongings or material things, but he asked for a very simple gift. So this is the chessboard. And as we all know, a chessboard has got 64 squares. So he said that, okay, on the first square of my chessboard, put 1 grain of wheat. Then on the second, 2. On the third, 4. On the fourth, 8 grains. And go on doubling. With every square, you go on doubling the number of grains. Okay. The king was very happy that he has asked, the sage could have asked for, say, gems, precious stones, gold, a lot of land, a lot of cows, anything. But he's asking for a very simple thing. He just wants some few grains of wheat. But the king soon realized the horror that the amount of grain the sage had asked was much more than the annual grain production of Bharatvarsh, means the then undivided India, or rather the entire Indian subcontinent. It was much more than the entire production of grain, annual production of grain. And if you actually sit down and calculate the amount of grain, it is much more. It is like more than the entire world's wheat production for more than 2,000 years. So king was really horrified, and he said, how is he going to fulfill his promise? He will have to face the wrath of the sage. But then the sage smiled and forgave the king. The king was very happy, and he told the sage that I am actually more impressed by your mathematical trick. So I have done some small mathematics, or rather, this is a 20-digit number. A 20-digit number, that is the amount of grain that the sage had asked. Now, can anyone calculate that? Means, can any student over here calculate that exact amount of grain that the sage asked? Well, this was done almost 1200 years back by an ancient Indian mathematician. Now, who was this ancient Indian mathematician? He was a Digambar Jain monk, a Mahaviracharya, who had written a book, Ganit Sar Sangraha, in around, say, 9th century Common Era. And this book, Ganit Sar Sangraha, has got amazing mathematical puzzles, interesting, fun-filled recreational problems, which explain you basic concepts of mathematics. Now, Indian mathematics is actually like Bhaskaracharya's Leelavati, is also full of number puzzles, mathematical puzzles, stories, different stories. And it is very fun-filled, unlike the modern day contemporary mathematics texts, which are full of, say, abstract exercises of problems. Ancient Indian mathematicians used to make mathematics fun-filled, full of fun, clear mathematical concepts. And another thing, if you're learning Indian mathematics, as they say, you are hearing the thing from the horse's mouth. You are learning from primary sources of mathematics. Everyone must have heard about Fibonacci. So we have that Fibonacci sequence of numbers. Actually, Fibonacci spent his childhood and youth in North Africa, where he learned about Indian numbers, Indian mathematics from Arab traders. Arab traders used to trade both with India, means they used to buy the goods from India and sell it to the Europeans or the North Africa. And they also used to learn mathematics from Indians, which they spread across the world. So coming back to this problem, now you see this is a geometric series. Every number, that is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, these are having a constant ratio, or they are getting doubled. So these are geometric series, and that is what I mentioned over here, that it was Mahaviracharya who gave this formulae for adding up terms in geometric series. Okay, so coming back to my course, this will be an interesting, fun-filled course, full of recreational problems from ancient Indian mathematics. In this course, you will clear your concepts of mathematics and algebra, and thus build a strong foundation for learning higher mathematics. Okay, I will be teaching you problem-solving skills that will help you to prepare for competitive exams and aptitude tests. And of course, we have to be really aware that it is India where mathematics originated. So this course will give you references to Indian texts on mathematics. So I will end my talk here because the time is up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chandrahashji. Okay.
Welcome.
Okay. So that was amazing, seeing and having all of our wonderful faculty present what courses are going to be offered real soon at Hindu University of America. So please think about enrolling. I've dropped links in the chat. I'll do that again. But with about 18 minutes or so, we can take some questions. And one of the ones that comes up often, and maybe each of you have a different answer and take it how you will. What's the youngest age that people can participate and you feel comfortable with? And I know some of you have taught courses with young people. Who would like to get at Miraji's question? And if you have questions, put them in the Q&A box. It's easier for us to follow than in the chat because it runs, right? So Vikramji asked specifically about a 13-year-old, but just generally, what do you feel about the youngest age in your courses?
Gita Vidya Sadhana, if I may say, one of my youngest student was 8 years old. So anybody who is able to pronounce some bit of Indian language, who can color some books, read and discuss, should be fine. About others, maybe I don't.
My course is suitable for children or students who are in grade 9 and above. I'm expecting a certain knowledge of basic algebra so that I can present some real gems from Indian mathematics.
Ankurji, Shantanu here for the Valmiki Ramayana course. As Gopiji said, even in my course, children from 8 and above have joined. So 8 to 10 is the earliest stage, and then children from 13, 14, 15 surely have joined. So 8 is, I'll say, a line for me also. Yeah.
And our courses, I think, would be suitable for children from the teens, literally 13 onwards. Though we have had children attending and picking up a little bit here and there, but if they are 13 and above, then they will really benefit fully from the course.
Great. Thank you for those answers. And maybe that's what we can do. If there's a question that all of you should answer, we can just go in a quick rotation. Yeah, anyone from around the world can take any of these courses. It's just a matter of the timing and making sure it lines up. So Minaji, Vikramji asked, any courses specifically about pride? And this is what I am seeing lacking across the board. I think all of our courses teach or have aspects of Hindu pride. What are we proud? Yeah, what are we proud of? What did we accomplish? How do we share it? But if anyone wants to jump in on this, how does your course instill or cultivate or encourage pride in our youth?
Ankurji, when I was taking my demo and I told you that today's society is a CCTV society, right? And that itself, in fact, when I take the course, every time it challenges me that, because that society was so morally good, and I feel guilty that am I, like, I'm teaching it to students, am I like half of it myself or not? So I think that was a lovely, lovely society. And today we, with all our gadgets, are we even 1/10 of it or not? So I'm saying, yeah, as Dr. Hari said, as Chandrahasji said, some amazing gems, and Gita has some amazing stuff. I think you rightly said, all of these courses have, I think, the solid evidence of pride, not only feeling of pride. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think Hindu University of America has taken enough care to see that they are not overlapping. So there's still a chance that all courses can be taken and make this summer more, interactive and useful.
Emaji?
No, I mean, like we showed, I mean, fundamentally this idea about exploring Hinduism itself is to bring back that confidence and dare. So it is to bring back the confidence in your roots and to be able to dare to emulate what your civilization has really lived for and the values it has upheld, and to bring back those good values and kind of society that Shantanu just mentioned. So it is to bring back the pride, and like somebody had just mentioned in the comment, that it is confidence that gives you the pride, and so it's all about building confidence and dare.
We normally use two words in our courses, Bharat Gyan courses. We use the word dare and confidence. Unless we have those two key words, you cannot look up as an individual, as a family, as a community, society, and civilization. It's two very essential things. And that is what these courses cumulatively add up to, collectively and cumulatively add all the courses that we offer and all our colleague faculty offer, so that we have this holistic idea of our Hindu civilization, not just in India or Americas, everywhere. It's valid everywhere as a human being, to be a better humane person, qualified person, capable person of taking large strides in this present world, wherever geographically we are. It's got value there. Certainly, yes.
Yeah, very good. Chandrahasji, mathematics, especially for young people, is one of those things that, especially in the West, it maybe not so much for certain communities, right? It hurts the young people's confidence when they are not good at math. So I think this is an interesting way to dovetail and learning about all this ancient contributions that Hindu mathematicians have made. I think there's an interesting way to touch on that confidence question.
Can I make one? Can I make one small comment? Our Indian American faculty of mathematics at Princeton University, who won the Fields Medal, Manjul Bhargav. Manjul Bhargav had said that he was able to win this Fields Medal for his work because as a child he had studied Indian mathematical text. He got the idea for his great work from ancient Indian mathematical text. So once you learn these things, you will get many ideas, many wonderful ideas. Your creativity will be unleashed. Your imagination will be unleashed. Visualization will be unleashed. And of course, you will have real fun. So you will develop a deep interest and passion for mathematics. The fear will go away. So it's a cure for mathophobia.
Beautiful. Okay. So as we're closing in on the end, Vikramji is asking about a course on Sanskrit. Right. Out of the 120 plus courses HUA has, we have a range of courses on Sanskrit, from beginner to actually reading the Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit and analyzing it in that language. So you develop it. Vikramji also asks a course about Jati and Varna. We're not using the word caste as much because it is a projection of a European kind of hierarchical framework onto a Hindu civilization that they had no idea about. We're using Varna and Jati. We will be bringing a course on that. We're not ready yet. There's so much there. We've done webinars. That's coming up. But this has been an exciting webinar. I'm glad to have you all stay with us until the end. and maybe we can go around with our faculty and give our closing pitch, closing thoughts, and we can start maybe with Gopiji.
Okay. So I wanted to really mention that my particular course, Gita Vidya Sadhana, is available in all Indic languages. So the script of Bhagavad Gita can be read using Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, English, and we are trying to bring the meanings through descriptive illustrations. So the language is not a bar, and everybody can join the program and interact with the images kept as comparative analysis. The recitation of the shlokas is made easier. We have divided the shloka into parts so that the tongue twisting words can be easily practiced. And Bhagavad Gita builds your pride as a Hindu. Every Hindu must make an attempt at least to memorize 10 shlokas at least, and this particular shlokas, the meaning gets revealed again and again and again as we go through in our life. And so it's a treasure for life. The best time to catch this treasure is the young age. And I'm sure all those who are out listening to this webinar today, make use of your summer holidays, get this treasure. I cannot explain in words what a wonderful opportunity this is that Hindu University of America is providing. Yeah, that's it.
Great, thank you, Gopiji. How about Chandrahasji?
Yeah, one question that many people ask is ancient Indian mathematics relevant today? Today's age, they say this is internet age, this is age of digital technologies, this is the age of computer science. The basic underlying thing that on which this today's digital technology works is the binary number system. And you will be glad to know that binary numbers are a gift of ancient Indian mathematics. It was Pingalacharya who had developed the binary number system at least 2,300 years back. And that is the gift India gave to the world, the binary number system. That is the comment.
Thank you, Chandrahasji. Hemaji, Hariji, how about your turn to make your last? We still have a few minutes, so like 2-3 minutes each if you want to take that time. You're on mute.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can hear us?
Can you hear us now? Okay, fine.
Yeah. See, fundamentally, our exploring Hinduism, this particular course that we're offering in summer is more like an overview of the civilization called the Hindu civilization, and in a simplified manner, in about 20 sessions, we will be taking different aspects about the civilization. So, and this is complemented by many of our other courses as well, which we have been offering through Hindu University of America, like the Hindu contributions to the world in the realm of matter, in the realm of mind. And we are going to bring in more on Utsav, why do we celebrate various festivals and so on. So all of these will kind of complement one another, and they can be taken in any order. So for example, people who have done the other courses, they can take this now to kind of strengthen their understanding that they've gained in those courses, while others can do this first to get a overview and then move on to the other courses. So they're all independent and they can be taken in any order. They just go to strengthen each other over the course of time, because fundamentally one lifetime itself is not enough to really understand Hinduism. So that's where we are.
And what we do in this course is we offer it from an international flavor, from an international perspective. Because this is an international audience, it's an international university, and our students are international, faculty is international. So the perspectives have to be presented from that angle, which is what we do in this course. So, as most of the students do write.
Vikramji is saying you get knowledge from two for the price of one.
Certainly, yes.
Yes, beautiful. And I love how you supplement each other. You finish each other's sentence. You make the points. It's a beautiful dynamic. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you. Shantanuji, let's end.
Yeah, I think as Dr. Hari was saying that these conversations do not travel to the dinner table, to the breakfast table. So we use, I consciously try that how can they travel to the dinner conversation? And just like, if I can take half a minute, I started making these courses for my son. I'm homeschooling my son. He's 8, he never seen a school. He never seen a formal school. And at some point that course become like a lot of my friends asking for it, started asking for it. I somehow posted a photo on LinkedIn, and then universities and colleges started for it. I'm saying, so I've tested everything. It's almost like in India we say, like can I say this in Hindi, and then maybe someone can translate better, or maybe let me try in English. If a halwai, a sweetsman, cannot eat his own sweet, right? Because there's a lot of milawat, a lot of adulteration in your sweets, then I think that there's doubt. So I've tested all of these sweets at my own son, which is dear to everyone. So what tool I have discovered, designed is that I have given a lot of, designed a lot of phrases and idioms which you can use in daily life. Let's say some are already common. Let's say this is Soni Ki Lanka. He's the Vibhishan of the family, right? But we have designed many more. Let's say, don't give me this mantra-like advices, right? This is a typical Bali Sugriv confusion, right? Because when we can talk like a lot of Greek terminology, which we don't even know who was Herculean while trying Herculean effort. So like, let's talk these Indian terms, right? So I have tried to design a lot of these tools. I call this a Pandora box of 10 tools. So one is the stories from Ramayana, a lot of leadership lessons, lot of quizzes, lot of fact checks, like how did this happen, when did this happen, and also the geographical trail of Ramayana, and a lot of these idioms, and then 2 reflection tools. Who's your favorite character and why you want to relate to that character? What do you want to learn from that character from one particular Kand? And every day, at the end of the day, we try to kill one of the Ravana within us, right? And then sitting in US, wherever you are, I'll take you through the Ramayana circuit, right? And if you come here, luckily I know a lot of people in Ayodhya. I keep traveling there myself. I'll take you personally, but till then, I'll show you original picture which I clicked myself from the trail from Ayodhya to Lanka. In fact, tomorrow is my class in HUA, and I'm bringing a Sri Lanka expert. Like tomorrow means like tonight for you and tomorrow morning for me, right? So yeah, so these are the package of tools that normally I try to transact in my class, and they're all tested at home.
Wonderful, beautiful. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us for this special webinar on our courses at Hindu University of America for teens and parents. Thank you so much to the faculty for your wonderful work, for working with us, for presenting this information, for staying on and answering questions. This has been exciting. If you want to take a look at all of our summer courses, there's the general link. Please do enroll with Hindu University of America over the summer. We are on this dharmic mission. We want you to join us. This is not just a one-quarter endeavor. We're bringing people, as was said, from around the world for this mission, and let's get it to the next generation. We need the next generation to participate. We know, and we're actively working towards that. And thank you all for participating, joining. See you next weekend for our next webinar, hopefully. Otherwise, see you in a course at Hindu University of America. Thank you all. Namaste, dhanyawad.